It's not often I pick up a management game or a tycoon game just to play it for a few minutes just to try it out, and then suddenly it's dark outside and my coffee has gone cold. But that's what happened with me while I was playing News Tower. So if you're hunting for a new management game or a tycoon game just to sink probably a lot of hours into, well then you might want to stick around. I want to show you what makes this game so much fun to play, and this is not sponsored or anything, I just had a lot of fun with it and I want to give you my overall impressions. So first up, what is this game actually about? Well, you're thrown into the 1930s, your father has passed away and left you his struggling newspaper business, and now it's up to you to turn it into New York's next big media empire. So no pressure here. It is a full-on management tycoon game that honestly reminded me a bit of the game The Movies. Remember that one from way back? Well, that was one of my favorite management games ever, and this one comes very close. Let me explain. Instead of actors, you've now got reporters, and instead of filming scenes, you're chasing scoops. But it's that same easy to pick up, brutal to master vibe that comes here in full force. And to me, that's what kept me glued to my screen all week. There is just so much strategy happening all the time. You're just frantically clicking and let me explain. From the Great Depression to the edge of World War II, you need to deliver a paper every single Saturday, and somehow it's way more stressful than it sounds. But the payoff, it's a lot of fun. Let me give you a quick rundown of the game. You start with a sad little one-floor office, then you need to build desks, hire reporters and a bunch of telegraphers, and then start hunting down some stories. Finish these reports, they'll go to the layouts and build up the actual paper. All of this needs to be wrapped up before Sunday's deadline, and if you do well, you get more subscribers, more money, more upgrades, and a bigger slice of New York. It is classic tycoon goodness, and honestly, I didn't expect a game about a dying medium to be this fun. Yet here we are, and it just keeps getting better. Now you might be thinking, okay Marco, well, where does actually all of this news come from? And that's where I'll be starting with at the globe screen at the top, the big old map of the US, and maybe later even Europe. Once you hire a telegrapher, well, then you can start scanning for stories. And well, this took me a bit longer to realize you can actually target specific subjects, and that is quite an interesting take, because if you stack 2 or 3 stories in the same subject on the same paper, well, you're going to get more cash. Topics range from crime to society to politics to sports, but each one has different subtopics too. Crime might give you a gruesome murder story, so it makes things a little bit interesting. Politics might give you a scandal. You'll also see some bronze, silver, and gold icons at the top. And well, obviously, the bronze ones will give you a little bit of cash, the silver will give you a bit more, and well, the gold ones, they're going to give you some beaucoup bucks, as the French would say. But here's the kicker. The bigger the stories, take longer to complete. Sometimes you'll need 2 reports stitched together, sometimes 3, sometimes they're locked behind a lock and a key, and then you have to take a bit longer. It gets very technical. Sometimes you need a pre-story before the main story, and the whole time you're just weighing up, do I publish something early for safety, or do I push my luck for a gold tier payout? It is such a gamble, but damn, it hooks you in deep. There's almost so much stress going on where you're like, I need to get this one out, I need to get this one out. Now I'm looking on the right-hand side to see which ones have gone green, and even on a Sunday, like before it's time to close, you can quickly get the last few in, you give some priorities. It's intense. And you can't just mindlessly pick up the shiny ones either, because they can also backfire. There are timed stories, rival papers can steal your scoops, but you can also steal theirs. It's just pure chaos, but fun chaos. Now all of this sounds good, but I do have a slight complaint. You do spend a lot of time just staring at this map. Maybe it's just me, but my gameplay just becomes fast forwarding, waiting for stories, assigning them, rejecting the junk ones, and repeat. If I tried to look around my office, well, I'd have to pause, and everyone obviously then stops working, so it did feel like I was missing out on some of that action, what was happening there in the crunch of it all. Difficulty-wise though, this game gets hard very quickly. The tutorial is great, 100% recommended, but once you get onto your own 2 feet starting a new game, oh boy. After a few hours I was drowning in loans, I couldn't afford paper, I had to buy emergency paper at ridiculous prices, and I was just stuck in this negative cycle for weeks. It took me some time. Eventually I crawled back with some good old god tier combos, but wow, it's rare to find a management game like this. It's challenging, but in such a good way. But still, switching views, assigning reporters, building stories, it all feels so smooth all the time. The UI is big, it's clear, and surprisingly hard to mess up. But then it comes to construction, and that's a whole other thing altogether. Sometimes when management games make you build, well, you're going to be doing that a lot, and it has to feel satisfying. Like I said with the movies, that was so much fun, but thankfully, News Tower nails this part. Placing items is easy, it's fast, it's flexible, but it's also weirdly challenging. See that printer module over there? I had no idea where it should go, and moving things around isn't so easy because of the limited space. You start with stairs that reach other floors, but they can only go in certain spots, which instantly forces you to think several steps ahead. And when you look around, see what I've got going on here? I didn't just do that because it looks cool. Every item that I place down matters in some shape or form. These posters and maps above the reporters, well, they're going to buff their skills, and you can even stack decor to buff 2 employees at once. So eventually your office doesn't look all barren and depressing. It has this functional vibe going on where it looks good, but it operates efficiently, if you know what I mean. As you explore more of the world map, you'll be unlocking construction buildings that give you new objects if you have enough influence points, which I'll get to soon. Plus, you can also get more items from finishing stories or hitting calendar events as well. There's plenty of ways to get more objects, but eventually you'll have elevators, pneumatic tubes zooming paper around, dumbwaiters lifting boxes up and down. But everything in this game feels like the devs sat down and said, okay, what if this was actually awesome? And somehow they made it awesome. And it's one of those management games that it feels good while playing. It's really cool. So yes, I was mentioning those influence points. They come from your regional map alongside subscribers and a bunch of other unlocks. You'll start small, you can't really expand too much in New York here. And if you want to expand, well, you're gonna need certain types of news coverage to break through. At first it's easy, but it ramps up quite a bit, especially when competitors start creeping in. Then you get to unlock organizations like the Mafia, the church, the army, the mayor's office, all of them offering perks, money, or just some shady ass deals. But you can't just cozy up to the Mafia all day. Maybe you'll fail to reach their goals and they might just come and break your stuff or terrorize your employees. You'll need to get some security involved even. It's pretty wild. Their demands usually match their vibe. So for example, the Mafia, they want to hide crime news, maybe you plant some fake news. But with the church, they just want to spread good news, maybe deliver food and packages, that sort of thing. At the start of each week, you get to pick 2 goals, one organizational goal and one for your map. And here's where the strategy hits again. Maybe the Mafia will come along and say, okay, we don't want any crime stories, but now your whole week is stacked with juicy crime scoops. Do you cave in? Do you publish it anyway? Do you risk sleeping with the fishes? Your call, but it's not going to be an easy one, and that's where it keeps you on your toes the whole time. But in the end, is News Tower actually fun? Well, judging by my tone so far, hell's bells it is. It nails that perfect, just one more week gameplay loop that all the best tycoon games usually have. Let me fix this one tiny problem, and then boom, it's like 5 hours have gone by. The building part especially sucked me in. I'm a builder kind of guy. I just love watching a messy little office turn into a bustling media empire, floor by floor. And, like I mentioned earlier, the last time a tycoon game grabbed me this hard was the movies, and I've been searching for something just like that for so long. That same sensation of momentum is here, where you're constantly thinking about what's next rather than what's been done. My only gripe with the game, I'd say the only negative, is that once I got into it, I just leave it on fast forward with my eyes glued to the map. It can feel somewhat repetitive at times. You're assigning reporters, making the layout, publishing the paper, and then doing it over and over again each week. There is a lot of variety, but the loop is very, loopy. And yeah, I'm a tycoon junkie, what can I say? I can do that for hours. At the end of the day though, if you love tycoon games, you love your management sims, or maybe even colony sim games like Oxygen not included, yes, I'm gonna go there, or you might really enjoy News Tower. There's always some fire to put out, some mobster to shoo away, maybe some employee to calm down, and it never stops being engaging. Sure, the 2D graphics might look simple, but the systems underneath are so polished and rewarding that I highly recommend it. Just be warned, it is very, very hard to put down. But that wraps up my video. If you enjoyed it, maybe drop a like or maybe even subscribe to find more games to get lost in. A huge thanks to my channel members, you always mean so much to me. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.